suddenly suffering from acute appendicitis in the middle of the night, when being pushed into the emergency room. A man was holding a woman covered in blood. In a panic and anxiety, he blocked my way. "Doctor, my girlfriend is bleeding heavily. Save her first." Hearing the voice, I suddenly looked up. It was my husband. For a moment, my mind went blank. The doctor was still urging me to contact my family member. "What are you standing there for? Has your family member arrived yet?" My phone was still on the dialing interface. It took me a long time to come to my senses. With trembling hands, I hung up the phone. "No need. He has already come." Hearing my voice, Ethan suddenly turned around and our eyes met. Obviously, he didn't expect that the person he blocked was me, and he was stunned on the spot. He opened his mouth and was about to speak when Stella in his arms spoke. "Brother Ethan, I'm in so much pain." With just one sentence, Ethan's entire attention was taken away and he had no time for anything else. "Doctor, she's in a critical condition and keeps bleeding. Can you please take a look at her first?" Due to a life-threatening ectopic pregnancy with massive bleeding, the doctor could only send her into the operating room first. Due to a shortage of staff, I, with acute appendicitis and a face turning blue from pain, was temporarily left outside. When Stella was pushed into the operating room, Ethan was still worried and followed all the way to the operating room door. "Doctor, you must save her." It wasn't until the door of the operating room closed that Ethan stared at the door for a long time before turning around uneasily. When his eyes met mine, he remembered that I was still outside. "Are you okay?" Obviously, his attention was not on me. It was a perfunctory question, and while lying on the hospital bed, in my chaotic mind, I didn't know whether to digest the 3 words "his girlfriend" first, or digest the 3 words "ectopic pregnancy" first. I wanted to ask him when it started. Didn't he only regard Stella as his younger sister? When did she become his girlfriend? But I couldn't say a word. Probably because he didn't hear my reply. He then realized what he had just done. Stella is in life-threatening danger. It's an emergency. I must deal with her matter first. But I was in so much pain that I didn't have the strength to reply to him. A young couple saw that I didn't look well and asked me with concern, "Are you okay? Why do you look so bad? What did the doctor say about your condition?" Only then did Ethan remember that he didn't even know what disease I had. I covered my abdomen and held back my tears. After a long time, I said weakly, "The doctor said it's acute appendicitis." As soon as they heard that it was acute appendicitis, the couple became anxious. "What about you? It seems there was a car accident here tonight." Several patients were sent over. "The doctors in the emergency room are too busy." "Did the doctor say whether your condition is serious?" "Yes, acute appendicitis is not a small problem. A neighbor of mine died of appendicitis the year before last. I heard that it was due to perforated appendix infecting the abdominal cavity and missing the best rescue time." The other party couldn't help but ask me anxiously, "What did the doctor say just now? Did they notify another doctor to come over or wait for the doctor inside to come out? Given your situation, do you need to contact for transfer immediately?" I had been controlling myself not to lose my composure, but at this moment, I couldn't hold it back no matter what. At this time, the people who cared most about whether I lived or died were actually 2 strangers. As my husband, Ethan was so concerned about Stella that he didn't even bother to find out about my situation. Nor did he ask what would happen to our daughter Candy since I came to the hospital. Probably seeing that I was tears, those people became anxious. "Where's your husband? Why are you here all alone with such a serious illness? Call your husband quickly." I looked over at Ethan. Ethan was a bit ashamed. "I didn't know your condition was so dangerous." Even if he really didn't know, couldn't he see my complexion? It was just because his heart had completely flown to Stella in the operating room and he didn't look at me carefully at all. After waiting for almost an hour, I was finally pushed into the operating room by another chief surgeon who hurried over. He handed the operation form to Ethan, but when he was signing it, because the door of the emergency room was opened from inside, he hurriedly signed his name and ran over to stop the doctor. "Doctor, how is Stella?" The appendix was suppurated. If it was any later, it could endanger life. Due to special reasons, the doctor administered local anesthesia. Throughout the process, I was awake and in pain. It allowed me to digest and accept the fact that Ethan had cheated. It also made me recall his unusual behavior in the past year. When I called him, he was always very busy and often on business trips. In the past, no matter how busy he was, as long as I called him, he would pick up. Because he was afraid that I would think too much. He said, "Luna, if you're not happy, I can't do anything. I'll be even more uncomfortable than you." But in the past year, he often said that he had his phone on silent during meetings and didn't hear it. As long as I asked a few more questions, he would be impatient. "I'm very tired. I have to take care of your emotions every day. Luna, can you be more considerate of me?" I also thought of last night. I called him more than 20 times, but none of them were answered. At that time, while I was in pain, I was even worried about whether something had happened to him. But I never thought that he was with his lover. I have been with Ethan for 13 years and we have a lovely and sensible daughter. From campus to wedding dress, from high school to university, and then into marriage. We gave all our beautiful and passionate feelings to each other without reservation. He once risked his life for me. I never thought he would be possible to cheat. Even less did I expect that when our lives were both hanging by a thread, he chose to save someone else. After the operation, Ethan stayed by Stella's side all the time and didn't come to see me until the next day. He explained to me, "Stella has no family. She is alone here and has no one to take care of her. As you know, I owe her. I have to stay by her." Stella's parents had an accident while saving him back then. Later, the Chang family treated her like their own daughter. I used to be resentful of his kindness to Stella. As long as Stella had something going on, he would always rush over at the first time. But time and again, he told me with practical actions that the person he loved was me. Whenever I quarreled with him because of Stella, he would say, "I'm just repaying a debt. I treat her like a younger sister. Her father was hit by a car while saving me. Her mother couldn't bear the blow and committed suicide due to depression. Luna, you simply don't understand this kind of guilt. I owe her. I can never repay it in my lifetime." But later, once when I didn't pay attention to the vehicle while walking, he threw himself at me and shielded me under his body. And I never cared about it anymore. Thinking about my own stupidity, I couldn't help but slap myself. I tried my best to appear calm and rational enough. "When did it happen?" He pretended not to understand. "What? When did you and her get together?" His eyes were filled with red blood vessels. "There is no relationship between me and her. Don't go and cause trouble for her. She is not the kind of person you think." I laughed, laughing at him for treating me like a fool. I also laughed that at this moment, what he was afraid of was not that I would be sad and get a divorce. Instead, he was afraid that I would go and cause trouble for Stella. I am not a person who loses temper very easily, but at this moment, I couldn't help but shout at him, "Do you want to treat me like a fool? Ethan, you and she even have a child. And you still tell me that you have nothing to do with her?" Ethan hugged me. "Don't be angry, wife. That's not my child." I bit my lip. It turns out that what is more painful than appendicitis is being betrayed by the one you love and still having to listen to him lie, leaving you unable to defend yourself. I reached out my hand to him. "In that case, give me your phone." But he just looked at me and didn't make any move. But I was very insistent. "Since you said there is nothing, then what are you afraid of?" "I don't know what's on his phone." He refused to show it to me no matter what. Later, when he was cornered, he said, "I was drunk that night and mistook her for you. I was with her only that one time. I was afraid that you would be angry and didn't dare to tell you. Wife, the person I love is you. Mistook her for me, and then when she and I were both sick at the same time, he chose to save her?" I don't know how he could say such words without changing his expression. "After being discharged from the hospital, we will get a divorce." "I won't divorce you, wife. You can't be so selfish." If we get divorced, have you ever thought about Candy's feelings? Do you want to make her have no home? He cheated, but instead said that I was selfish. It was me who didn't care about my daughter's feelings. It was me who made her have no home. My eyes immediately turned red. From last night until now, I don't know how I got through it. If you really think so much about her, how could you be with Stella? If it's ruined, it's also you who ruined it. During my hospitalization, Ethan took care of me, but always said that he had to go out for various reasons. Once when he was sitting next to me, I saw him chatting with Stella. Probably to coax her. There was a message on the information interface. Baby, don't be in a hurry. I'll come over soon. Then he looked up, a colleague from the company is calling me. I have to go out for a while. You don't need to report to me. From now on, your affairs with her have nothing to do with me. Ethan frowned a little, but then his phone rang and he still hurriedly turned and went out. When he came back again, I didn't want to stay with him for a moment longer and told him to get out. And I clearly told him that I must get a divorce. I can't stay in such a marriage with him and be miserable for a lifetime. After being discharged from the hospital, I will completely break up with her, Luna. We have been together for more than 10 years. I work so hard for this family. Do you want to destroy it just like that? For this family, so you choose to cheat? Ethan, you don't need to push the fault onto me. After saying this sentence, no matter what he said again, I didn't respond. But I didn't expect that he would be so shameless. In order to prevent me from getting a divorce, he would bring our daughter Candy over. That night, because I was in a hurry, I could only contact a mother in the same community to help me look after the child. I only have a few friends, and Ethan knows them all. He directly went to her house and picked up our daughter. As soon as Candy saw me lying on the hospital bed, her eyes filled with tears. Mom, what's wrong with you? I looked over at Ethan. Ethan touched Candy's head. Mom is sick. Candy should be good in the ward. I tried my best to endure. In front of my daughter, I didn't want to quarrel with him. I wiped Candy's tears and gently coaxed her. Candy, don't cry. Mom just has a little illness. She will get better soon. Candy pressed her face against my chest. Mom, you must get better quickly. Candy doesn't want you to be sick. When I was comforting Candy, I saw Ethan constantly looking at his phone and replying to messages. When he saw me looking at him, he put away his phone, held Candy on his lap, and teased Candy to play. If he hadn't cheated, this would be such a warm scene. Candy is only 6 years old and can't stay in the hospital for too long. Ethan took her out for a walk and bought some toys back. For several days in a row, Ethan would pick up Candy after school and bring her over. On the third day, I started to get out of bed and walk. Candy supported me like a little adult. I never expected that when she saw Stella, she directly ran towards her. Auntie, are you feeling better? I quickly realized that Candy knew Stella was hospitalized here. It's even possible that Ethan has taken her to Stella's ward. My mind was a bit muddled. Candy, come here. Candy said, but I want to play with Auntie. I went over and wanted to pull her directly over. But before I could reach Stella, Ethan, who had gone out to buy things, saw us standing together and hurriedly came over and stood in front of Stella. Without even asking, he indiscriminately accused me. Luna, I have promised you that I will not have any more contact with her. If you are still angry, just direct it at me. My vision darkened in waves. Ethan noticed something was wrong with me and came over to support me. I forcefully shook him off. At this moment, I only felt extremely angry and disgusted. Candy, come to mommy. Candy saw that the mood between us was not right. Looking at the expressions on me and Ethan's faces, she didn't know what to do. Stella smiled smugly at me and then touched Candy's head. Candy, go to your mommy. I said coldly, I don't need you to teach me. Stella's lips curled up. Candy is very sensible. I like Candy very much and treat her like my own daughter. Sister-in-law, don't be in a hurry. I also looked at her. Can't you have your own child? Luna. As soon as I finished speaking, Ethan called out to me. Stella's face also changed. This was her sore point. The hospital said that she might never be able to be a mother again. I ignored her and pulled Candy and turned to walk towards the ward. When we got to the ward, Candy held my hand. Mom, are you angry? I tried my best not to let my temper affect her and asked her, these days, when you and Dad went out, where did you take me? Candy's voice was soft. Maybe she sensed that something was wrong with my mood and was about to cry. We went to the mall. Sometimes we went to Auntie's ward. Auntie is sick and has no one to accompany her. She will be lonely. Her thoughtfulness and sensibility made my heart feel suffocated at this moment. My tears welled up all of a sudden. Afraid of scaring her, I could only hold them back and asked her with a smile. When did you become so familiar with Auntie? You went home to see great-grandmother. Dad would let me live with her. What's wrong, Mom? I looked at Ethan, who appeared at the door, and my whole body trembled. Except for Grandma, who passed away last month, I have no other relatives. Over the years, I have almost regarded Ethan and Candy as the whole of my life. Ethan works and works overtime. I take care of Candy alone. No matter how tired or hard it is, I never complain. A breakdown is probably just a momentary thing. But I still had to grit my teeth and say to Ethan, get out. Ethan looked at my trembling body and finally went out. 09 I had never spoken to Ethan like this in front of Candy. Even though my voice was deliberately suppressed and not loud. Candy was also frightened. Mom, why are you driving Dad away? I don't want Dad to leave. White eyes reddened. She is still so young and doesn't understand anything, but Ethan and Stella use her as the sharpest weapon to hurt me. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. Seeing that I didn't speak, Candy was cautious. Mom, did I make you angry? Don't you like me being with Auntie? Can Candy not go to Auntie's place in the future? But why? Auntie is very nice to Candy. Didn't Mommy say that if others are nice to me, I should also be nice to others? Because if Candy goes to Auntie's place, Mommy will also be very lonely. Candy seemed to understand, but not really. But she nodded vigorously and hugged me. I love Mommy the most. Mommy, don't be angry with me and Dad anymore, okay? After Candy fell asleep beside me, my phone received a message requesting to add a contact. I recognized it was Stella's WeChat. 10 Because I minded that Ethan was too nice to her, Stella and I had never added each other on WeChat. I knew that when she added me on WeChat at this time, she must want to do something. But I still clicked to agree. Then, uncontrollably, I went to look at her moments. The first thing that came into view was actually a photo of my daughter. It was a picture of my daughter building blocks with Ethan by her hospital bed. Half of Stella's face was revealed on the side. It seemed as if they were the real family of 3. Further down were photos of her and Ethan traveling together. I checked the dates. They were all the dates when Ethan told me that he had to go on a business trip outside. Even on the day my daughter was hospitalized for pneumonia, he and Stella were traveling in Sanya. On Valentine's Day, he told me that there was something wrong at the company. But he was in a couple's restaurant with Stella and gave Stella a limited edition couple's watch. And on that day, he sent me a red envelope of 520. Even though I was mentally prepared, when these evidences were placed in front of me, my heart still ached terribly. How could he treat me like this? I took screenshots of these one by one. After taking the screenshots, I turned and looked at my sleeping daughter beside me. I reached out and touched her little face. Candy, you must stand by Mom's side, okay? On the day of discharge, Candy was in low spirits. I hailed a taxi, but Ethan held Candy and wouldn't let go, insisting that I get in the car too. After we got back, because Candy was there, I didn't say much to Ethan. I didn't want to waste words on him either. When it was time to sleep, Ethan wanted to come in. I stood at the door and said, tonight, I'll sleep with Candy. Luna. I ignored him and closed the door. In the middle of the night, I heard Candy's crying. I turned her face around. Candy, what's wrong with you? Candy hugged me. Mom, are you not going to want me and Dad anymore? She buried her face in my chest. Mom, can't you not separate from Dad? My eyes suddenly welled up with tears. Ethan actually said these things to Candy. Moreover, he also shifted all the blame for the divorce onto me. Clearly it was he who made a mistake, but he said it was me who didn't want her. But I didn't want to lie to her about such things. Candy, Mom and Dad have very serious differences and can't be together anymore. Even if Mom and Dad separate, we will always love you. We will always be your Mom and Dad. I raised my hand and wiped away her tears. Candy, if Mom and Dad separate, do you want to be with Dad or Mom? Candy cried in hiccups. I don't want to be separated from Mom and Dad. Mom, don't abandon me and Dad. I could only coax her. After coaxing Candy to sleep, I came out and questioned Ethan. Why did you say such things to her? Ethan said, you want a divorce. She will know sooner or later. I tried my best to stay calm. During my hospitalization, I had already consulted a lawyer. At this moment, he was just available. I drafted a divorce agreement and asked him to sign it. I said, I won't be with you anymore. Threatening me with Candy is useless. Ethan didn't even look at the divorce agreement and tore it up. Then he came over and hugged me again. Wife, don't make trouble with me anymore, okay? I've already broken up with her. Really, it was only that one time. I was drunk. I looked at him amusedly. I took out the printed photos of their moments together from Stella's moments and showed them to him. This is what you call only once. How long are you going to lie to me? Ethan's face changed. I've already said that I will break up with her. Do you have to break up this family before you're happy? You betrayed our marriage. It's you who broke up this family. He started to get a little impatient. Do you have to make such a fuss? Luna, think clearly. Over the years, because of taking care of Candy, you haven't had a job at all. If we divorce, Candy can only be with me. You won't get anything. After I got married to Ethan, even though we graduated from the same university. But to support his career and free him from worries, I chose to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. My compromise has now been turned into a bargaining chip by him. Looking at him, I couldn't help but ask, Ethan, after you sent Stella into the operating room that day, did you ever feel? If I missed the best rescue opportunity that day, would you be glad that she was saved, or would you regret not choosing to save me? He frowned. I didn't know your situation was so serious. Hearing this, I suddenly felt that there was nothing more to say to him. At this time, his cell phone rang out. He looked down. I saw the word baby displayed on it. My heart ached unbearably. I have loved him for 13 whole years. Not just 1 or 2 days. Even though I had made up my mind to divorce him, every time, I could still be hurt by his actions. I once fantasized about the scene where one day when Candy grows up and we are old, the two of us holding hands and taking a walk. Stopping my thoughts, I had prepared several copies of the divorce agreement. I took out another one and gave it to him. Hurry up and sign it. Don't keep her waiting too long. Don't even think about it, Luna. If you insist on divorcing me, I will make you lose everything. After saying that, he slammed the door and left. I looked downstairs and saw Stella waiting downstairs. She was wearing a simple white dress, like a pure and harmless flower. So he was afraid that Stella would wait too long. Since Ethan refused to cooperate, I could only consult about divorce by litigation. But the result I got was that the possibility of my winning was not great. The things in my hand couldn't definitely prove the two of them. Probably because I didn't rest well after the surgery, and coupled with the influence of Ethan's affairs, when I went back that night, I had a fever. I could only ask my best friend Yvonne to help me take Candy to and from school. But I never expected that when she went to pick up Candy on the 3rd day. The teacher said that Candy had already been picked up by Ethan. My mind went blank for a moment. I immediately called Ethan. The person who answered the phone was Stella. Her voice was full of provocation and pride. Luna, Candy is playing here with me. Don't worry. Let Ethan answer the phone. Stella certainly wouldn't be willing to be Ethan's mistress forever. She smiled. You can just tell me whatever you want. I hung up the phone, trembling with anger. Yvonne cursed, damn it. How can Ethan be such a jerk? Luna, you must not give in. I made several consecutive calls, but Ethan didn't answer. In the evening, Ethan finally called. If you really want a divorce, you won't see Candy anymore in the future. After saying that, he hung up. Darkness loomed before my eyes. Yvonne quickly supported me. You should have told me earlier. Then I could have helped you in the hospital. But she was so busy. How dare I trouble her? Yvonne said, we can only go there earlier when Candy is out of school tomorrow. But when we went there the next day, we saw my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law has always been in her hometown. Ethan didn't bring her over even when I was sick to force me. But now he has brought her over. She held Candy's hand and walked towards a nearby car. And it's not time for class to end yet. I immediately went over. Candy, come to mommy. But Candy hid behind her grandma and didn't want to come over. My mind went blank for a moment. Candy? I want to go back with grandma. I couldn't believe it. Candy, come back with mommy, okay? But Candy shook her head vigorously. No, I want to go to daddy. I never thought that one day, Candy would not want to go home with me. She has been brought up by me alone since she was born. I only felt a buzzing in my head. Yvonne couldn't stand it. Candy, go back with mommy. Don't you know how much mommy worries about you? Candy's eyes were red, but she refused to come over no matter what. My mother-in-law looked at me. I'll take her to the car first, and then we can talk. I watched Candy get into the car helplessly. When my mother-in-law came over, I tightly clenched my fingers to prevent myself from losing control. What did you do to her? We didn't do anything to her. It's because she hates you for wanting a divorce from her dad. A 6-year-old child. Without being taught by someone, what could she understand? Don't go too far. Seeing me like this, my mother-in-law's tone softened. Luna, we're not forcing you. Don't worry. I will definitely make them break up. It will definitely not affect your relationship with Ethan. I will always be on your side. Looking at this no longer young woman before me, I only felt ridiculous. You knew about this a long time ago, right? My mother-in-law's eyes dodged for a moment. Luna, he took a wrong path for a moment. With so many years of your relationship, don't you know how much he loves you and what he has done for you? I only felt that my wounds were also aching. I don't know if it was originally painful or because I was angry. I didn't say anything anymore. Her eyes were a little red. She held my hand. Luna, I really like you. Over the years, I have truly loved you. Don't worry. I will definitely not let him be with Stella. It's very normal for men to make mistakes. As long as he can return to the family. I can't be with him anymore. Candy is still young. How can you be so selfish? Is Ethan's cheating normal, and my divorce is selfish? Just because Candy is still young, do I have to spend all my future time compensating for it? Let him enjoy the warmth of family while being entangled with Stella and enjoying his love? Only I live in pain every day? I don't want to. I went to find Candy several times again, but Candy refused to go back with me. In Stella's moments these days, all are filled with the daily lives of Ethan, Candy, and my mother-in-law. In both photos and videos, Candy is smiling very happily. It seems that having me as a mother or not has no impact on her at all. This time, she still refused to go back with me. I tears impatiently asked her, did Daddy say something to you? Candy shook her head. No, Mommy. I just want to live with Daddy. When I decided to divorce, I had thought of 10,000 possibilities, but didn't think of this one. Killing people is nothing more than this. As soon as I got in the car, I couldn't hold back anymore and burst into tears. Yvonne hugged me. Candy is still young. She doesn't understand anything. Ethan must have said something to her. Luna, let's take it step by step. I got seriously sick again. Ethan came to see me. If you give up on filing for divorce, we can still get along like before. You don't have to do anything at home as long as you take good care of the child. I won't let you be wronged. When Yvonne heard him say this, she angrily threw out all the things he brought. You scumbag, get out. Yvonne, this is between us husband and wife. You'd better not interfere. After Ethan left, Yvonne hugged me with red eyes. Luna, you have to be stronger. Your life is not only about Candy. You still have yourself. Yes, I still have myself. I didn't make a fuss with Ethan anymore. After recovering from my illness, I found a job with a high degree of freedom. My mother-in-law and Ethan thought I had given in and sent Candy back. But Candy said, "Dad, I want to live with you and Aunt. I don't want to come back." I turned my head aside and wiped away my tears. Is there anything more painful than this? Candy finally went back with Ethan after making a fuss. I didn't try to persuade her to stay any longer. Instead, I devoted all my energy to my work. At the same time, I started to find someone to follow and collect all the evidence of Ethan and Stella being together. After 1 or 2 months, Candy was willing to come back and live with me during the holidays. I couldn't hate her because I loved her so much. Because she is still young and doesn't understand anything. And Ethan also pretended to return to the family. I ignored him and just focused all my attention on my career. Maybe because of this, my career developed rapidly. In just 1 year, I got a promotion and a pay raise in the company. On the day of getting a promotion and a pay raise, I took all the collected evidence and sued for divorce. When Ethan received the court summons, he flew into a rage. "Luna, do you really want to divorce me? Haven't I already returned to the family? What else do you want? You can see that Candy will never follow you. Is his so-called return to the family just staying at home for a few nights a week and then accompanying Stella on various trips and vacations?" I didn't make any compromises, I respect all her decisions. On the day of the court session, Ethan brought Candy over. Candy's eyes were red. I squatted down, touched her face, and looked into her innocent eyes. I smiled. In this year, I reconciled with myself countless times. So at this moment, I said to her, "Candy can live with whoever she wants to live with. No matter what decision Candy makes, Mom respects Candy. But Candy must follow her own heart. In any case, Mom loves you." Ethan, however, hid Candy behind him. "I'll give you one last chance to regret." I ignored him and went directly into the court. Next, it was a fierce battle between the lawyers on both sides for property and custody. In this year, I had a thorough understanding of the joint property of Ethan and me. I took out all the various lists I had made and all kinds of intimate photos of him and Stella. Ethan was furious. "You've made so many preparations just to divorce me?" A year has passed, and I can already face his accusations very calmly. "Yes." Ethan sneered, "I will make you lose everything. You haven't had a penny of income on your own for so many years. I'd like to see what you can use to compete with me." However, when it came to fighting for custody, he only then discovered that with my ability, I could have raised Candy long ago. He really didn't care about me at all. If he had spent a little more time on me, he would have known that I had already found a job. When Ethan saw the things I took out one by one, his face turned blue with anger. In the end, the court ruled for divorce and the couple's property was divided equally. Regarding Candy's custody, because of the intense dispute, the final choice fell to Candy. I knew I didn't have much chance of winning and had already prepared myself mentally. But I didn't expect that Candy looked at me and then at Ethan. In front of everyone, she said, "I choose to follow my mom." I was stunned and stood rooted to the spot in astonishment, looking at her incredulously. Ethan stood up directly. "Candy." Candy was crying while still restraining herself and being calm. She spoke word by word. "Dad said he loves me, loves Mom, and loves this family. But I know that he has long betrayed Mom and made Mom sad. I am not happy either. Dad said that everything he has in the future will be mine. He will create very good conditions for me, buy me all kinds of toys, and make me worry-free for the rest of my life. But this is not what I need. Mom has given up a lot for me, giving up her job and her social life. She has nothing but me." When I heard them arguing about divorce, Dad said that she had no income for these years because of me and couldn't compete with him at all. I thought that without me, she would live an easier life. Probably because she was too uncomfortable, she paused for a moment before speaking. "I don't want her to worry. I know that Aunt will send my photos to Mom. So I always smile very happily. I want her to know that I am very happy and not to worry. When she is sick, she doesn't have to take care of me. But I don't know why, she is even more sad. Every time I see her, She doesn't seem to be happy and has lost a lot of weight." She looked at me. Although she tried hard to hold back, tears still fell one by one. "Mom, I can do without toys. When I am sick, I can take care of myself and also take care of you. I have grown up and won't be a burden to you." And I was already in tears. After coming out of the court, Ethan wanted to come and talk to me. He seemed unable to accept it. I just hugged Candy and couldn't help crying. Candy wiped my tears for me. "Mom, I don't want to see you cry." In the days that followed, Candy and I lived together and had a peaceful and happy life. Candy was still a very lovely and cheerful little girl. She became extremely sensible. But when I touched her little face and told her, "Candy doesn't need to be so sensible here with Mom. Just be a happy little angel baby." After a while, she gradually became much happier. I began to no longer lock myself only in marriage and family. Whenever I had free time, I would take her to travel everywhere and would no longer be reluctant to spend money because I was worried about the cost. I didn't deprive Ethan of his visitation rights. I wouldn't deprive Candy of her father's love. But I didn't expect that Ethan would regret it. After he was with Stella, he didn't seem to be so happy either. He started to quarrel with Stella frequently. Stella is always suspecting that Ethan is still having an ambiguous relationship with me. She often checks his various apps. Whenever Ethan tries to defend himself and ask her to trust him, Stella will sneer and say, "Trust? When you were with Luna, you could have an affair with me. Do you think I will trust you?" Because she can't have children anymore. As time goes by, as long as Ethan visits Candy, she loses control extremely. The two of them being together is a complete mess. But I am getting better and better. Later, when I was on a business trip with a supervisor of our company and booking a hotel, I met him. He stopped me. "Are you with him now? This has nothing to do with you. We are already divorced." Ethan said, "Did you divorce me for him?" "I divorced you just because I don't love you anymore. It has nothing to do with anyone. Live a good life with Stella." After I finished speaking, I turned and left. I thought this matter was over, but unexpectedly, after that day, he often appeared in front of me. Yvonne scolded him, "Shameless. Don't forget the pain once the wound is healed. Don't be with him again." How is it possible? In the year after divorcing him, I lost so much weight that I was only skin and bones. It took a long time to recover a little. You can rest assured. It won't happen. In fact, after the divorce, he just can't stand seeing me live a glorious life. If I live a bad life after leaving him, he will only be proud and show off in front of me and will never regret. It's good that you are clear-headed. Ethan visits the child more and more often. But every time after he visits, he will have a big fight with Stella. Ethan becomes very tired. He starts to frequently compare me with Stella. The more he compares, the more he remembers my previous kindness. He can't help but say to me, "You never quarreled with me like this before. Luna, it would have been great if I hadn't been with Stella back then." But I don't want to listen anymore and reply perfunctorily, "I still have things to do. I will pick up Candy in the afternoon. Also, I don't want you to take her to see Stella again. If there is a next time, I won't let you take her away anymore." When I turned and walked away, Ethan grabbed my hand all of a sudden. "Is there still a possibility for us to turn back?" I looked at him calmly. "I have moved on. You should move on too. Also, don't mention the past to me again. You don't deserve it." I didn't pay much attention to him. Later, I heard that there was a problem with his company and he couldn't get a loan from the bank. For many days in a row, he was trying to find a way and didn't go back. Stella called him, but he didn't answer. He often came to look at me downstairs. Stella thought he had rekindled his old relationship with me. She came to find me, but I ignored her. Later, she even found a man and took him back to their residence. When Ethan went back, he just caught the two of them having sex in the car by the roadside. Several people started a big fight. They didn't see the vehicle coming from the corner and were all hit and knocked away by the car. Stella was disfigured. Ethan's leg was crushed by the car and he could never stand up again. I didn't feel glad or relieved. nor did I go to see him. When my mother-in-law took Candy to visit him, she kept crying and saying to me, "I'm sorry." I didn't say it's okay. Because the harm I suffered is real. However, I have let it go. Only once, when I went to visit a sick friend and bumped into him in the hospital. He was sitting in a wheelchair and couldn't help crying. He said painfully, "Do you hate me very much?" No. Perhaps there was once, but I have walked out. If only I hadn't betrayed you back then. I just smiled. He only regrets and reminisces, especially because he is not living as well as without me. But I have looked ahead.